Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So last time we talked about VHS Halloween and I noticed something interesting. A lot of you did not agree with me. Yeah, I saw the like to dislike ratio. Some of you thought I was way too harsh calling it the weakest in the series. But hey, that's the fun of making videos. We can disagree and still celebrate the chaos. Anyway, tonight we're diving into something a lot more sinister.
You're meddling with things you don't understand.
Whoa! Now, as you know, here on Night Owls, we think it's very important to keep an open mind. Please welcome Dr. June Ross Mitchell and Lily, the young subject of the book, Conversations with the Devil.
I really don't think it's a good idea, Jack. She's becoming more unpredictable.
That's a good thing. That's why we still do live TV. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for a live television first as we attempt to commune with the devil.
You know, I finally watched The Late Night with the Devil for the second time, and man, I got some thoughts, the good, the bad, and the downright cursed. So grab a drink, dim those lights, and let's break this one down. Late Night with the Devil is a supernatural horror movie written and directed by Colin and Cameron Cranes, or Canes. It's shot like a found footage documentary, as if someone uncovered a lost 1977 Halloween broadcast that went horribly wrong. It stars David Dastmalchian as Jack Delroy, a charming but desperate late night host trying to save his struggling show. To grab ratings, it brings on psychics, skeptics, and one young girl who's supposedly possessed by a demon. The movie premiered at South by Southwest, got massive buzz, and instantly became one of the most talked about horror movie releases of that year. So the film is presented as this found footage, a live episode of Night Owls on Halloween night 1977. Jack Delroy is trying to boost his ratings after the tragic death of his wife. His big idea, a spooky live broadcast featuring the supernatural. He brings a psychic medium, a magician skeptic, and a parapsychologist, and a young girl named Lily who's supposedly possessed by a demon named Mr. Wiggles. At first it's all talk show theatrics, but then things start getting real. The psychic collapses after horrifying possession, the studio lights flicker, and the audience panics. Reality starts to crumble, and suddenly we're watching more than the show. Jack's past with a secret called The Grove starts coming to light. Maybe he made a deal for fame, maybe he's paying for it now. But by the final act, it's pure chaos. People die, the set burns, and you're left wondering, was any of this real? Okay, so let's talk about what works in this movie, because there's a lot. The set design, the costumes, even the pacing feels authentically retro. It looks like someone found a reel from The Tonight Show, but cursed in hell. David Dastmalchian absolutely carries this film. He's magnetic but broken, and you can feel the guilt eating him away the entire time. He sells a desperate man trying to keep it together perfectly. And you know, the concept is genius. A talk show turning into a possession horror story is such a unique setup. The tension builds so naturally that by the halfway point, you're glued to the screen, waiting for everything to go wrong. Now, here is where the movie falls a little short. Just a little bit. Now, as much as I love the movie, Late Night with the Devil isn't perfect. The visuals, some look incredible, others not so much. There are a few CGI heavy moments that feel out of place. I feel like the movie also is over-explaining. The framing documentary that opens and closes the film, cool idea, but it tells you too much. Horror is scary when it leaves you guessing, and some of the scenes just overdo it. Now, the movie jumps between the live broadcast and behind the scenes footage. It's creative, but sometimes it breaks the immersion when the tension's peaking. And yeah, the AI controversy, you know, some of the transitional images were generated by AI, which really threw fans off. Honestly, I don't really think it's a big deal, but you know, some of the fans didn't like it. Now, the themes and the symbolism. Now, there's a lot under the surface here. Jack's story is basically a deal with the devil tale. A man who traded his soul for fame, but instead of signing a contract, he signed off on a broadcast. Because it's framed as a talk show, you're constantly questioning what's real. Is the possession real, or is it just incredible stagecraft? Now, Jack's guilt over his wife's death haunts him every scene. The demon just doesn't torment him, and it really embodies everything he's been trying to hide. Now, the final act. The total collapse of reality. Lily becomes a vessel for the demon. The studio descends into chaos. Jack relieves visions of his wife. And in his illusion, he kills his wife, thinking he's freeing her, but in reality, it's just him killing Lily because he was, you know, in a trance. The last shots are fragments and static screams and a flicker of the Grove symbol. You know, it's implied that Jack's bargain finally comes due. He wanted the spotlight and the devil gave it to him, permanently. It's tragic and it's terrifying, and it's the kind of ending that sticks with you. Now hear me out. The more I think about it, the more I'm convinced Late Night with the Devil deserves a sequel. I believe there's some things to explore here. We barely scratched the surface of the Grow, the creepy cult Jack was part of. Now imagine a sequel where decades later someone finds the original broadcast, maybe a streamer, maybe the studio that was airing Jack's TV show, but years down the road, and all the cursed energy comes back. It could jump between timelines, the original 1977 broadcast, and in a modern day crew uncovering it. Maybe the footage itself is haunted, you know. Tell me you wouldn't watch David Dastmalchian return as a ghostly Jack Delroy still trying to broadcast from beyond the grave. Because I would. So yeah, Late Night with the Devil 2, the broadcast returns, you know. So if Shudder's watching this, make it happen. And if they're not, someone tell them to make it happen. So that's my breakdown of Late Night with the Devil and why I think it totally deserves a sequel. What do you think? Would you watch a follow-up, or should they just leave this cursed tape alone? Drop your theories and sequel ideas in the comment section. I read every single one of them, even the ones roasting my takes. And if you love horror breakdowns like this, make sure to hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit the bell so you don't miss my next video, because if you do, the boogeyman is coming to get you.
Good to see you again, Jack.
Lily, return to me.